Good Friday morning, everybody. Pressure, pressure, pressure. That's what we're dealing with today. We're doing Pass Rush Friday, and the Pass Rush certainly had a great opportunity against the Chargers. Not only did the offense get up early in that game to where you're playing with a two-score and sometimes even three-score lead, which is a great place to be as a defense, but you also dealt with over 55 Justin Herbert dropbacks, 51 pass attempts, 3 sacks. I think there was a scramble or two, so you're right at 55, 56. And what did you do with those opportunities? Let's take a look here. Let's see who was actually getting the pressure. Defensive line did okay. 4 different guys had a pressure on that defensive line. Shelby Harris had 1. Quentin Jefferson had 1. Al Woods had 1. I believe he got a sack, actually. And Miles Adams had his first, I believe, his first ever NFL pressure. I think. As far as I know, it is the first pressure he's had in his career. And, I mean, it's solid. It works, right? Like, last week was a little bit of an aberration because we got 4 out of Brian Monet. That's not going to happen that often. So, if you're looking at this defensive line that, other than Al Woods and Shelby Harris, is kind of thin on, surefire things, and is, other than Shelby Harris again, is kind of lean on legitimate pass rushing threats, 4 is pretty good. I can definitely take that. That's winning football from this defensive line, I think, as long as they're getting support from the back end. So let's take a look at the edge rushers here, and we're going to have a little bit of a filibuster on Nwosu just to explain things, but Darrell Taylor had a sack and an additional pressure. So he had 2, brings his season total up to 12. And if you actually look at it, as much as he has regressed in some areas as a player this year, Darrell Taylor, excuse me, it is worth noting that in terms of sacks and pressures, he's on pace to surpass what he did in 2021. So it's not all bad. It's not everything we want it to be, but he can do some things in the NFL, clearly. Uchenna Nwosu had 2 pressures, and we need to talk about this for a minute here because I know a lot of people are going to see that and go, what are you talking about? I saw this thing that said he had 31, and why do you only have 10? So let's go ahead and get into that real quick, and this is a great example of how different sites have different numbers. I don't know exactly how Amazon Next Gen Stats calculates pressures, but clearly they are far more liberal with what a pressure is than PFF or PFR. I use PFR, but either way, Nwosu is not even close to 31 pressures on either of those sites, I believe. I know he's not on PFR because that's what I use. 10. I read somewhere, I don't know if this is true or not, but I read that Next Gen Stats gives a pressure to any defender who, at any point between the start of the play and the time the quarterback throws, has no one in between him and the quarterback. If that's true, that would explain a lot. Because, yeah, if going by that metric, some of these guys are getting 6, 7 pressures a game. But is that a pressure, really? Like, if he's 8 yards away and he just got free of his blocker and he's going to the quarterback now, but the quarterback gets it out of his hands when you're still like 5, 6 yards away, that's not a pressure. So Nwosu's playing well this year. He's doing his job. He's doing good things. I like what I'm seeing from him, but he does not have 31 pressures, nor does he lead the league in pressures. It's a very broad definition of what a pressure is, and I'm not buying that it's impactful enough to be considered the way we are considering it. I saw another comment on one of my videos that said Amazon gives a pressure whenever the quarterback leaves the pocket, which also sounds problematic to me. But either way, yeah, I'm not really buying that one. I'm just going to say it. But anyway, Nwosu played good, 2 pressures. Filibuster over. Boye Mafe didn't add a pressure. He did play a great game, though. Alton Robinson still not ready. I did add Bruce Irvin to the chart because he actually played a pretty good amount, and to my eye, he did have 1 pressure. PFR didn't give it to him, but I feel pretty confident that they just missed. And whenever that happens, I go ahead and add a tally mark. So tally mark for Bruce Irvin. I think he got a pressure in that game. Overall, he played a good game, by the way. Let me be clear on that. So I don't know exactly what happens to Bruce when Alton gets back, but honestly, for multiple reasons, it would not shock me if Bruce Irvin maintains a few snaps a game. Maybe it'll just be like 10. But I feel like we like him enough, and it's not like Irvin wants to get released so he can go to a team that's going to play him 40 snaps. That's not happening. He's just happy to be in the NFL. So yeah, Bruce Irvin maybe going to be a consistent part of this defense in a reserve role going forward. Just something to think about. So you're getting 4 from your defensive line and 5 from your edge rushers. That's pretty good. Jordan Brooks had a pressure in this game, and I'm going to continue to say I want to see Brooks blitz a lot. I think it's something he can do better than cover. Get him out of coverage, find other ways to cover tight ends and backs. Let Brooks rush the quarterback. I feel like good things can happen. Nothing for Barton, nothing for Ballore. And we got 1 cornerback pressure from Michael Jackson, who had a really good game, by the way. So he gets his first pressure, maybe of his career, honestly. But he's already beating my season expectation, right? I didn't think he was going to get any. Outside cornerbacks getting pressure. Doesn't happen a ton, but Michael did it. Good for him. Nothing from the safeties. Neal, Diggs, Jones. So 11. You got 11 QB pressures. If you're getting 11 QB pressures a game, you're doing pretty well for yourself. I'll say that. Not bad. Not the best, but not the worst. 11 QB pressures a game would basically put you on pace to get my preseason projection, which was 188. I believe 11 a game gets you to 187. So, hey, that's kind of in line. Now, I understand this was an opportunity to maybe do a little bit more because Herbert was playing hurt. Their offensive line is beat up, and he dropped back to pass 55, 56 times. But regardless, it's a pretty good performance. It's much better than what we were seeing in the previous 4 weeks when our defense was probably the worst in the league, that 4-week stretch. And if we can maintain that kind of level where we're getting double-digit pressures every game. And remember, these are hard pressures. These are not the weak pressures that Next Gen Stats is giving out. These are actually big-time impactful pressures that clearly disrupt what the offense was trying to do. Pretty good. So yeah, we're developing a little bit of consistency here. We did well against the Cardinals. We did pretty well in this game. We got a great opportunity against the Giants to keep it up. Banged up offensive line over there. So we'll see if they can keep it up. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Happy Blue Friday.